The EU has just held its referendum and the British people have voted to leave the European Union. Are you happy with this vote?
Absolutely delighted. We have our sovereignty back. That's all that matters.
The stock market is crashing. The value of the pound is at the lowest for over 30 years. Investors are saying that they're going to cut back. Does this not give you pause for concern?
Right, let's start off. The stock market is at the level it was last week. The pound is dropping by a small amount. It has been for 2 years. But what this means is that we are better off for our exporters. They're getting a better deal.
But a lot of industry in the UK is foreign investment. It's car companies, it's banks, and house builders as well are seeing their prices go through the floor.
It will keep on going. We're the fifth biggest economy in the world. It is in nobody's interest for the UK economy to fail. The fact is, if we fail, the EU fails, everywhere fails. No one will fail. We are going to work together. We're all working as friends to get the best deal, both for the EU, the UK and for the world.
A lot of people are saying after this election that they feel deceived. They felt that they are being guaranteed £350 million extra for the NHS and that migration will stop. What they're hearing is different.
We never guaranteed migration would stop. Migration stopping would be a bad thing. All we say is that we want to control migration. We will have more money to fund the NHS and we will be able to fund it in a more sustainable way because we won't have to use PFIs that were brought in due to the convergence criteria that was brought in to sidestep EU rules. So we will be able to do it cheaper.
Isn't that wishful thinking? If the economy is nosediving, that money will just be already absorbed.
The economy is not nosediving, nor will it do so. The fact is, before the referendum, we had all this scaremongering from Mr Cameron and Mr Osborne. The sky's going to fall on our heads. There'll be dinosaurs roaming the streets of London. None of it's happened. None of it will happen. At the moment, what's happened is some people who bet big on a Remain vote have lost money. Other people who bet big on a Leave vote have made money. So it goes up and down. That's the way the economy works. We will do very well. Don't forget, we are Germany. Germany had a €51 billion trade surplus with the United Kingdom last year. Now, German manufacturing, German big business runs the EU. They will say to Mrs Merkel and to Mr Juncker or whoever his successor is, look, we need a fair and free trade agreement with the United Kingdom. And you know what? They'll get it because what they say goes.
Following the referendum, there's been a huge upsurge in xenophobic attacks, particularly against the Polish community. Are you upset about this?
I don't accept your premise. There has not been. There have been some reports, but there are always attacks against various people. What's happened is big business has brought people into the United Kingdom to undercut Labour. They've been putting people against people. Nobody has any problem with people who come to our country and work, and there is no evidence whatsoever of an increase in any attacks. There is only anecdotes from people who were already Remainers.
There was a letter from the Polish embassy in London reporting an upsurge in attacks, an upsurge in reports against the Polish community. Surely that is an objective source?
There may well have been a letter reporting it. There have been no crimes reported to the police.
That just isn't true.
Well, yes, it is. Has anyone been arrested? Has anyone said anything? No. Where?
It has definitely been reported.
It's been reported by yourselves who have a vested interest in trying to stir up trouble.
Absolutely not. Sorry.
There may well be, and there always is, problems between communities. I refuse to believe that people who voted Leave did so because they dislike Poles or anyone else. There are always some people who use things, whatever excuse, to cause trouble. Anyone who does have committed a xenophobic offence should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. I've always said this, always will do. The fact is, this is not about people who are in our country coming here to work and live their lives. It never was. It's about control of the future and our sovereignty.
It looks like Boris Johnson may be the next Prime Minister. He said this morning that he would like the UK to remain in the single market and to continue to have free movement. Isn't this a complete turnaround on what was promised by the Vote Leave campaign?
Mr Johnson didn't say there would be free movements, and I don't think Mr Johnson will be the Prime Minister anyway. However, the negotiations will go ahead, and they will go ahead through the people who are in our government at the moment, which is the Conservative Party, and they will make whatever decisions they see fit. And if those decisions don't accord with the will of the people of the United Kingdom, then they will be in trouble.
When you say in trouble, what do you mean?
Politically, they'll get voted out at the next election.
But we're going to probably have a general election on the basis of the negotiating position of the UK.
No, we should not. We should not at all. It should go the full 5-year term, and then we'll see.